Assembly manual for panel flooring using the glueless Baltic Loc snap system. Our panel flooring must not be stored directly on the concrete base. The panels should be stored in original packagings. Before assembly, the panels should be stored at room temperature. This refers also to the assembly period itself. Each panel must be inspected carefully. Should it turn out to be faulty, it must not be laid. The Baltic floor panels are manufactured using only natural raw materials. The surface is smooth and the interlocking parts are perfectly adjusted to each other. A three-layer structure of the panels improves their flexibility and increases the resistance to the changes in humidity and temperature occurring in the rooms.
Panele można układać na powierzchniach twardych.
The panels are laid on hard bases, concrete and hydride and already existing wooden floor or ceramic tiles.
Powierzchnia musi być równa i nie
The base must be flat and dust-free.
instalowany w pomieszczeniach.
Our flooring can be assembled only after all the other construction and fitting works have been completed,
Jest to ostatni element przed
as the last step before placing furniture.
prace związane z
All the works related to the assembly of windows, doors, central heating and painting should be already completed and the room well dried out.
Natomiast pomieszczenie powinno być
All the types of bases, even equipped with damp insulation, require additional damp insulation. To achieve this, polyethylene foil is used, at least 0.2 mm thick, which is resistant to wear and tear. The sheets are joined, allowing for a 20 cm wide overlap areas. Sheets of foil are glued together using sticky tape. At the walls, the foil is turned up on the wall. It can be just clipped after the assembly is completed. Also, it is necessary to use some material to smooth the base and provide noise insulation. To achieve this, polyethylene foam may be used or the EcoFloor subflooring panels. Subflooring panels should be laid at a 45-degree angle to the floor panels, allowing for expansion joints at least 10 mm from walls and 2 mm between neighboring panels.
Teraz możemy chwilę wypocząć.
Now you can rest a bit because all the preparations have been completed.
Pamiętajmy, że
Don't forget to lay it in a direction parallel to the direction of daylight. Panels could be laid longitudinally only in long, narrow rooms, for example in a corridor, to reduce the number of cuts.
aby zmniejszyć ilość cięć. W wielu
It must be remembered that in many cases it's easier to start the assembly with the wall in which the door is located. In this way you can avoid a lot of problems with the assembly in the door frame areas. Before the assembly you must measure the length and width of the room. It's important because the shortest panel section to be added must be at least 40 cm long and the narrowest at least 5 cm. This is a tongue. And this is the Baltic Loc joint. It's a modern, glueless assembly system. Panels are always laid starting from the left to the right in such a way so that the tongue faces the wall. Expansion gaps 10 mm wide are left and spacer wedges are placed. Another panel is being attached at a 20-degree angle to the base. One last glance to see if the edges match equally. The last panel usually has to be trimmed. Do not cut it where the tongue protrudes because it must be there. So turn it, measure it and make the cut. Please allow a 10 mm wide expansion gap between the panel and the wall. The remaining part of the panel may be used to begin a new row if it is at least 40 cm long. Such a displacement, or a longer one, should be made between consecutive rows. Now it's time for another row. The assembly kit is there to make our work easier. Triangular wedges make it easier to join panels. You place a panel at an angle to the previous row and then we move it carefully down. If it won't move, make sure that the tongue and groove are clean and not dusty. After the whole row has been laid, you remove the wedges and knock it together delicately. In the case when you find out that the wall is uneven, cut a piece of wood, attach a pencil to it and moving it along the wall, draw a line on the panels. You will cut them along this line. You disassemble the already laid part of the flooring in the order of steps opposite to the assembly procedure. Put numbers on the rows of panels. This will help you to reassemble them. Cut the panels, but they can't be narrower than 50 mm. Now you've got to place the panels again and put in the spacer wedges. For cutting extension gaps near pipes, you will need a drill. The diameter of the openings for the central heating pipes must be 20 mm greater than the diameter of the pipes. For other fittings permanently connected with the base, the extension gap should be at least 10 mm. The last row of panels must be trimmed, allowing for the extension gap. The whole row is laid using the short sides by placing it on the floor. You move it along to the pre-selected place and join at an angle. If you have a very long row of panels, each panel may be placed separately. A part of the short side profile is removed and glue is put on. And then we join it using the long side. You do exactly the same with the next panel. After it is laid, move it towards the previous panel, joining the short sides. Now you remove the spacer wedges and trim the polyethylene foil turned up on the wall. Now just the final finish strips and your work is done. Don't forget to attach the strips to the wall, not to the flooring. Now the Baltic Loc system flooring is ready for use. Please remember to attach protective pads under the legs of chairs and other furniture to prevent the flooring from scratches. You can be sure that our panel flooring will serve you for long years to come. Assembly manual for panel flooring using the glueless Baltic Loc snap system.